We're good. What's going on, guys? The Airy Lord is here. Jak and Daxter fans as well. Anyone who supports the game series, Naughty Dog, and all those great things. My YouTube channel is mainly focused on The Walking Dead, most recently NFL football for my favorite team, the New England Patriots. But I'm kind of jumping into a different community today, but in truth, this is a community that I've been a part of for 20 years of my life. Ever since the first Jak and Daxter game came out, or actually, I mean less than 20 years. Precursor Legacy hasn't been out for 20 years just yet. But you know, I bought the Precursor Legacy when it first came out back in 2001. Back when it was a Valentine's Day gift that my mom gave to my dad. She got him the PS2, but it came with Jak and Daxter. So it was like kind of like an incentive pack. Like, you know, you get the PlayStation 2, but they also wanted to give you some of the games that were coming out for it. So the first Jak and Daxter game was included. And then that's how I got into the series. Fast forward to some promotions that there's a company called Limited Run Games. And I have an image that's from them. If you guys want to see it real quick. This is a promotion they're doing for Jak II. Now, it was announced by Naughty Dog. I guess I'll minimize this for now. But it was announced by Naughty Dog that they were doing this partnership with Limited Run Games to release collector's editions of the Jak and Daxter series. Now, there was never... I don't know exactly what the reasoning for this was. Because what I'm trying to understand is what, like, was there some special event? Like, is there a new Jak and Daxter game coming out? Was this just an anniversary? Because there's no significant anniversary. It's only been like 18, 19 years. I can understand if you get to the 20th anniversary of when Jak I came out. That makes sense. And I even misspoke and said it's been 20 years, but it hasn't yet. You could have had this be for like your 20-year anniversary of when the first game came out, but it seems to be something that Naughty Dog's they're just doing it. Last year they had they ported the PlayStation, all of their games, they ported them to the PlayStation 4, but they didn't have the updated graphics that the PlayStation 3 collector's editions, because there was another company that actually remastered those games. Some of the music was different. The graphics were certainly different. It was up to like 720p. Basically what the PlayStation 3 was capable of at the time. I still have an unboxing video of it. It did very well in the Jak and Daxter community, and I made that video back in spring of 2012. 7 years ago. I mean, that is absolutely astronomically ridiculous to think about, that I made that 7 years ago. The Jak Daxter collection on PlayStation, and I have a playthrough up of Jaks 1, 2, and 3. I think over 100 videos. This was back when I was making very smaller incremental videos of playthroughs. I was also using a camera to record. I mean, this is back when I even did gameplay. I mean, so much has changed, but I don't want to get into the history of it. Those were just some things I've done for Jak and Daxter. I've also made some tutorial videos here and there. There was a statue that I got from Gaming Heads, that they make statues for games, and there was a unique like statue of Jak from Jak I. He had it was like a bronze version, and there's an unboxing of that I have as well that did well views wise. People seem to like the Jak and Daxter videos I put up, and it's like a niche underground community, but it has a lot of swelling support. I mean, it's a game that I don't understand, and I don't want to get into a rant here. I don't understand Naughty Dog's reasoning for not releasing another Jak and Daxter game, because I personally think they should. But there's this, from Neil Druckmann and the staff that they have now, it's like they think it's too cartoonish. They want to go with the hyper-realism that The Last of Us has offered, that Uncharted has offered. But Uncharted, for all intents and purposes, the 4th game concluded the series, and now you have The Last of Us 2 coming out at some point this year. I always hope that at some point Naughty Dog sees the light and releases another Jak and Daxter game, but I honestly feel like they're just going to move on to a new series. Like, once The Last of Us 2 comes out, I think that they're just going to move on to some new series. I don't know what it's going to be, but I don't think that they're like, in my opinion, I think they're going to move. That's not even going to be for like 5 years, because The Last of Us 2 still has to come out, and then you got a development cycle of whatever's coming next. So still, it's still, here's the thing: we can use these opportunities to prove to Naughty Dog that we want more Jak and Daxter stuff. And what I guess I'm leading up to in this video is that this partnership with Limited Run Games. So I'll just look over the details. This was different for the Precursor Legacy. So for the Precursor Legacy, I'm trying to find a place I can put this so you can see my face. All right. But you can still read it. For the Precursor Legacy, they had only like 2,000 collector's editions. And so they had about half as much supply of the collector's editions and the standard editions. They also didn't announce it. It was just a random tweet. And I was very fortunate and lucky to be just checking my Twitter, and I realized that this was going on. I read up information on it, and I bought it. And it ended up it was sold out. So I bought an edition that included like a t-shirt and some other things. It was more expensive. I believe the collector's edition for Jak 1 was $75. I bought mine for $150 because it was the only one that was available, because it included the collector's edition, but it also included a t-shirt and some other essentials. So it was the only way I could get it. So I have that I bought, and it's supposed to be shipped in February. And then they announced last week that they would be, because they were doing a collection for each game. As you can see, this is for Jak 2, but then if you look right here, there's the other games in the series, so Jak 3 and Jak X. So there's going to be a specific collector's edition for the other games of the series. So that would obviously include Jak 3, that would obviously include Jak X. So, but they each have their unique content. So for Jak 2, it has there's like a replica of the Seal of Mar, there's the soundtrack for the game. There's a couple other things that are exclusive to that game, like it's a poster for Jak 2, there's the Jak 2 soundtrack. Things that haven't been released before. And so it gives people who are fans of this series a chance to get into it more and to feel like there's some love for this game that really kind of has felt abandoned. I mean, you look at the opposite end of the spectrum. You look at Ratchet Clank, which was also a dynamic duo. Insomniac used the game engine from Jak and Daxter, like the platform, the coding that was used. They used some of Naughty Dog's coding for the original Ratchet and Clank, and Ratchet and Clank's been supported. There's a movie that came out about Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank on PlayStation 3 was a thing. They had Tools of Destruction, A Crack in Time. They had the All for One game. Then they had like the remaster that came out that was a remastering of the first game, but based on the movie. So they've had a lot of swelling support. You know, Ratchet and Clank has... I think the only thing Ratchet and Clank hasn't had is a re-release on the PlayStation 4. Like what Jak and Daxter did last year, where the games were ported over to the PlayStation 4. I would love that for Ratchet and Clank, but they haven't done it yet. But that's nothing compared to the way Naughty Dog's treated the Jak and Daxter series. I've been disappointed with the way they've treated it. And that's why what Limited Run Games has done is very appealing to a Jak and Daxter fan such as myself, because this gives us an opportunity to get extra content, bonus content, and apparently Naughty Dog limited the numbers, and there's not going to be a resale of this. So Limited Run Games offers 2 times to buy it. I guess it's at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. And I got to tell you, this came out today. So this is January 25th, and this came out like today. This collection came out today. And so it was like sold out within 10 seconds. Like I had to preload my shipping information. I had to have like my credit card information like already pre-stored. And so it was speedy, because when you go through the checkout line and you add an item to your cart, it doesn't get added to the cart until you buy it. So you have to buy it and then you've completed the transaction. So you could be entering your account information, you purchased it, but then they'll say, oh, this item's out of stock because you weren't fast enough buying it. Like, it's not like Amazon, where you go onto Amazon, you see an item, you say add to cart, and then the item's in your cart. So like Black Friday, when they have Black Friday sales and you add the item to your cart, like it's in your cart for a set period of time, and then there's a countdown timer. It's like 10 minutes, 9 minutes, and it's like if you don't complete the checkout process, you're screwed. This is like whoever has the fastest hands. There's bots and robots that probably are going to get involved in this stuff. I know the limited run games community and staff is probably trying to weed this out to make sure people aren't doing that. And they've been super responsive to me. If you go on my Twitter, I've had multiple conversations with these guys. I actually praised their customer service department. I've never seen this type of response from a gaming, I guess, manufacturer, shipper, someone who's dealt with high quality collector items like this. And I mean, they know that there's passionate fans for these games, and they do it for other games. They don't just do it for Jak and Daxter. If you go on their website, there's a multitude of games that they do it for, but I'm going to be honest, I never heard of these guys until the Jak and Daxter thing. And I think that's going to be that can be said of for a lot of people. Because I was looking at the other games they do this for. Like, I don't know any of the other games they do this for. Like, let me go on their website right now. So you go to new releases. And here, this is basically what I'm showing you guys right here. Let me widen my screen here. You can see it. So, yeah, right here, sold out. So here's the mega bundle. This is what I had to get last month for Jak 1 because this was sold out. So because it wasn't announced, I was able to get this sooner. It was different. But yeah, I mean, look at these other... I don't know what these games are. Celestial, Iconoclasms, like Tokama. I have no idea what these things are. And then you have like add-ons, fan gamers, like there's shirts. They partner with different Japanese companies for shirts that they make, merchandise, and it's just shirts that they have. Like, what are the sold out releases? Let's see. Breach and Clear Limited, RPG. I don't know what any of these games are. Octodad. I remember that game came out like years ago on the PlayStation 4. Honestly, I have absolutely no idea what any of these other games are. Other than Jak and Daxter, I don't know. I don't know what these other games are. Let me put this back to where it was. There we go. Yeah, so the Jak and Daxter, the collector's editions that they partnered with Naughty Dog on, like, am I wrong to say that this is the first thing that really put them on the map? I don't know if any staff from the company will watch this video. I'm going to tweet this video to them, because I have high praise for their customer service department. The fact that they're doing this partnership with Naughty Dog, I highly respect it and praise it. I'm a longtime fan of the series, obviously. I have many YouTube videos that can prove that, and I also talked about my history here a little bit. I bought the first collector's edition, which was the bundle. Just bought the second one. Got really lucky there. So I got 2 more. But what I was talking about earlier, there was an incentive. Like, why would they do this? Well, apparently, and there's a Sony blog post about this, apparently if you get every single collector's edition or standard edition, well, I forget. I think it's either every collector's edition or every standard edition. I forget what you have to do. But if you get them for Jak's 1, 2, 3 in the combat racing game, so 4 of them, you will get the game box for Jak 4, which is the game that never came out. They were going to make Jak 4, just a brief history. They were going to make Jak 4 after Uncharted 3. Yeah, after Uncharted 3, they were going to make Jak 4, but then they couldn't come to a decision as to how they were going to make this game. There's a lot of extensive art on this game, and it got scrapped. It was an unfinished project that they had put time into, but they just didn't do it. And The Last of Us ended up getting made instead. So Jak 4 or whatever the heck it would have came out in 2013. So there would have been like a new Jak for PlayStation 3 instead of The Last of Us. It was an idea they extensively went over, and it was just the direction of their team. And there were Andy and Gavin, the two guys that like were the founders of Naughty Dog, they left after Jak III was made. They left, so they were involved with the production of those Jak games. So would the Jak games have been different if they're not there? Granted, even Wells is still there. He was working there. Now he's like co-president, I think, of Naughty Dog. So you get the Jak 4 game box if you get all these collections. It's like a bonus item for staying, you know, for buying all of Limited Run Games' stuff, for being the ultimate Jak collector. And you get this in the summer because each month they announce when these come out. And then you buy them, and then I think it's the month later, or 1 or 2 months later, it then ships. So I bought the Jak 1 Collector's Edition in December, and they say that shipments will be made sometime in February. So it seems like every 2 months from the date you purchase it, it gets shipped to you. So that's my diagnostic on this whole thing. Very cool, very interesting. And I'm thankful I got it. I know there's a lot of people who didn't. Seeing the Twitter, I went through the Twitter replies, and a lot of people weren't happy. People think there are bots. There are already scumbags on eBay who are scalping this and reselling it because they know it's a high collector's item. Don't do that if you bought multiple ones of these. But the thing is, they improve their system. The Jak 1 Collector's Edition, you could buy 2 of them. This time, it's 1 per person. So unless you're making multiple accounts with multiple like shipping addresses, like I don't see how you could really go about, like, it's just, the thing is you're making money off of an old school fan who's really passionate about this, and it just seems, it's really scummy. Like, I know people do it for like concert tickets and stuff, but that's been going on for years. But like this is something that means a lot to a niche audience of fans. And yeah, I mean, there's collector's items of lots of other, you know, figurines and stuff where people have done this, but I just have to shake my head at that. I don't even know how people are pulling it off. Like, how are they having multiple addresses? Like, what, do they just know multiple people and they're just shipping the game and then they get it and then they could just ship it on eBay? Like, I don't know what their strategy is. I don't really care. That's not how I operate. I have one address and I bought the game and that's where I shipped it to. Because duh, I want it. I'm not going to resell it. So that's my discussion talk on this. I love that Limited Run Games is doing this. I expect sometime in mid to late February we're going to hear announcements about the Jak III one, and then in mid to late April the combat racing one. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they've had good. It's really cool because I love the soundtracks. You get posters, behind the scenes stuff. It's cool to have. It's a cool thing to have. And I'm glad that they did it. If Limited Run Games is listening, maybe call up Insomniac, because I would really be interested if you guys did this with Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet's 1, 2, 3, and then Deadlocked, the one that came out PlayStation 2. It was the same year Jak X Combat Racing came out. So it's like technically Ratchet and Clank 4. I know more Ratchet and Clanks came out after that, but do it for the PlayStation 2 ones. Like, that would be cool. Like, can you imagine like a statue of Nefarious or Captain Quark or something? Like, because I'm a fan of that series just as much as I am Jak Daxter. So that's my question. Like, what other developers are there? Because Naughty Dog's, they're not small potatoes, man. Like, they're still kicking in high gear with Sony right now. I mean, they got The Last of Us 2 coming out. Uncharted 4 came out 3 years ago. That was a big, like, every game a Naughty Dog puts out is a huge commercial smash hit. So the fact that Limited Run Games has this kind of partnership thing going on, it's pretty big, just in my opinion. So yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to any Limited Run Games employees or anything who are watching this video. I'm going to tweet it to you guys. I'm not sure if you'll see it, but, we'll see. But yeah, this is cool, and glad I snagged mine, but we'll see about, if I'm going to do an unboxing, and then I'll give more shout-outs, and I'm sure people will be interested to see all the contents that you get in there. So, all right, thank you guys. See you later, and thank you again, Limited Run Games, for this promotion. Thanks.